Critter Trades here, and today I'm going to be reviewing NH Oil. And what this is a rust proofer that you'll spray on the underside of your vehicle to stop salt from ruining and rusting out your vehicle in the wintertime. And these do a really awesome job at keeping the salt and rust off of your vehicle. What they do is they create a barrier, because when you spray them on the underside, they spread out and get in all the little nooks and crannies that the salt and sand and water would get stuck in and start the rusting process. And they get in those areas and they prevent the water and the salt from getting in those areas, and they make a barrier between the metal and the painted surfaces under there and the salt. And these really do an awesome job. I've been having my vehicle in Michigan winters for the last 10 years, and there's almost zero rust on my car because I do use rust proofers like this one to stop it from getting rust forming in the first place. And once the rust sets in, it's really difficult to get rid of. You really can't stop it once it starts. The only way to fix it is to cut it out and weld in new metal, which is super expensive to have done. So a cheap option is to use something like this and spray it on the underside, and you apply it every fall because it does start to wash away and get removed over time after a full season. So you do need to apply this every year.
All right, so some people think that a lot of these undercoating products are all pretty similar, and while that is true to some extent, there are some main differences. And the main thing that makes NH Oil a little bit different is it is quite a bit thicker. A lot of these will drip after you apply them. NH Oil will not drip after you apply it. It's actually a little bit thicker, so it'll stay where you put it, even though it does still have those creeping properties. So it won't drip on your floor, which is kind of nice. Once you bring your car into your garage, it won't leave drips down like some of the other undercoatings will. And then the other thing, there's no scent at all with this, or maybe a minimal scent. Typically with a lot of the other undercoatings, when you walk around the car, you'll be able to smell it. You can't smell this one at all. It barely has any scent. And it's definitely not noticeable after you've applied it to your vehicle right away. The other thing that's specific to this product is that this is specifically made to be an undercoating. A lot of the other products aren't specifically an undercoating. They're a multi-use product that was designed for a different reason, and they also work good as an undercoating, but this one is specifically designed to be an undercoating. So it does have that in mind when they're making it. So it is a little bit better with things like the dripping, obviously, and the scent. So you're going to have a lot of positives with NH Oil.
Now, this is not one of those undercoatings like a rubberized one that hardens on the bottom of the vehicle. It stays wet, and that's the best part about it, because when it's wet, it can still creep to different areas. If you have a rubberized or an undercoating that hardens, what happens is you'll get rocks that chip it and break it, and over time it will get brittle and crack. And then it actually is worse for the vehicle because those cracks and chips, they let salt water get underneath them, and it actually holds the salty water on the vehicle frame, which causes them to rust out faster. So these don't do that. These stop the process, the corrosion process, from even being able to happen because they don't allow the salt to touch the metal that's on your vehicle. And they really do an awesome job. The other thing I really like about NH Oil is it's really environmentally friendly. They say it's actually food grade, which means you can ingest it. Obviously, I don't recommend ingesting it at all, but it's nice that they went and made it with environmentally friendly products. So it's not like you're dumping a whole bunch of nasty used oil or motor oil or transmission oil all over the roads that get into the waterways eventually. And this one here is blackout, also it's a black tint. Sometimes those make it stick a little bit better, and you can really see where it's been applied versus where it hasn't been applied. If you use like a clear one or a yellowy substance on some of the undercoatings that they have, this one you can see a lot better. And then the other thing that this one has is it has what's called mouse out. So it uses some essential oils like peppermint oils and things infused into it, and it's said to have some mouse repellent properties to it as well, which is kind of a nice feature. Now, I bought this online from Warehouse 9000. They have a lot of really awesome products for undercoating, and they sell it with a spray gun kit. And what this does is you can hook up compressed air to it, you put your product in here, attach it, and then you can use an air compressor to spray it on the underside of your vehicle. And they actually are one of the only people I've found that sell NH Oil by itself. Typically, you might have to go onto their website to get it. Warehouse 9000 sells that, and they also sell the spray gun kits, and they can also package them with the NH oil. So you can buy a whole kit that's all ready with everything you need. It comes with some different wands here that you can put inside the doors. This one has a center tip that shoots straight out. They also have a 360-degree tip that has holes in the side, so it'll spray it inside your door panels. But these are really awesome kits that Warehouse 9000 has. They also sell just the NH oil by itself on Amazon. So I'm going to put a couple links in the description to the kit with NH oil and the NH oil itself through Warehouse 9000. If you do have any questions about NH oil or how it works or how to work the spray guns or anything like that, always ask them down in the comments below. I like to respond to those right away because I know there are some things I've left out of these videos sometimes. To get this working is you're going to get this really good shake, better than that obviously. I shook it earlier. You're going to pour it into one of your containers here. This stuff's pretty thick here, which is good. That means it sticks really good in the spots that you put it on. It actually pours pretty decently for being at room temp. Sometimes you have to heat some of these undercoatings up before they start being really wet and fluidous like that. So that's a good sign. It almost smells like paint. Some of these can smell pretty nasty, some of these undercoatings, but it really not very scented at all compared to some of them. Attach your canister here to your spray gun. Make sure it's nice and tight. Then you're going to make sure this first one is tightened all the way down, and this second one is not tightened all the way down. It should be a little bit loose on here. And then you can adjust this depending on if you want more or less to come out, and you can also change the PSI. It should be around between 50 and 90. You'll have to play around with it a little bit to see which works the best. If you'd like to use your attachments, you just take this gold tip off and put this, or the brass tip off, and put this new one on here. And then you're going to attach it to your air, and then this will be good to spray just like it is. If you have a quick disconnect, you can add that on there like this. And then once you have this all set up and you get your air pressurized up to there, you're good to go, and you can just start spraying. All right, so I'm going to spray it on the underside here. Make sure you use jack stands, obviously, and universal precautions, mask, eye protection, and rubber gloves are not a bad idea. The stuff's pretty messy. Anything you're going to spray out of a spray can or a air compressor that's a fluid is going to be spraying all over the place. And make sure you get in all the little nooks and crannies. That's the biggest thing that you want to do. It will spread, which is really awesome part about it, is it'll creep into the areas that you miss. So if you don't directly spray a spot, it's okay. And it's still going to get into those areas, especially when it's warm outside. It'll creep a lot better when it's warmer out. I'm also going to spray a spot on the back of my vehicle and test it compared to some other undercoatings like fluid film and Super Shield, for example. And we'll do a long-term test with those. So subscribe to the channel if you want to check out those when I release those as well. And overall, I'm really impressed with the stuff. I actually think I like it better than fluid film. And I am a super big fluid film supporter. If you've ever seen my channel, I do lots of long-term reviews and different reviews on fluid film. And I may be switching to NH oil. It is that good, and I'm very impressed with it.